Hey guys, welcome back to Community Starcraft 2. I'm your host Magnet as usual, and today we're going to be covering standard ZvT openers, as we can see on the screen here. We're going to be covering some hatch first and a pool first build. Both of these are really standard in this matchup, and just to kind of pre-pad this or whatever you want to call it, Zerg builds aren't as rigid as other races, so I'm just going to show you guys how to open up this way and what reads you need to make from that point in the game forward. I'll explain the advantages to these two different builds and the differences between them, and it'll at least give you guys an opportunity to watch somebody run the build so that it's not just like somebody talking at you or reading text somewhere as far as how to do something. It should be a little more helpful than that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the game here so that we can get started. As we can see, I have already got a custom game lobby already set up. I'm going to be playing a Zerg, I'll play against a Terran, and we're going to be doing hatch first as our first build here. So we shall jump right into that here in just a moment as soon as this loads. Let me make sure that we are doing this correctly. Yep. I'm always paranoid that I'll be like wasting my time and talking to nobody while this is going on, and then I'll just waste my time. Like, nothing is more annoying to me than wasted time, so that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid here, but we'll go ahead and get this rolling. Now I will be playing and talking at the same time. It may be a little bit annoying to hear the Queen say that, but nevertheless, in any Zerg build, when you first open up, you're going to want to send your Overlord out, and you're going to want to start a drone immediately. Now what we're going to want to focus on, any build that you run, you're going to need to pay attention to spending your money as soon as it's available. So if you have larva, you don't want it to sit around if you have money to spend, unless you know why, and we'll be covering that in just a second. So, okay, we're approaching 9 supply. We're already at 9 supply actually, but we're approaching the time to make our first Overlord, so you're going to go ahead and make that on 9. And then the next drone you make is going to be the drone we're going to scout them with, because you need to be watching out to assure that there's nothing weird going on. So we'll go ahead and set that up. It's this guy. This egg is going to be the drone, so we'll go ahead and make him scout. Once this Overlord pops, you want to make 2 more drones, as we always will do. There we go. Send this Overlord to your natural so you can spot for any sort of like bunker rushes or something like that. And hotkey your scout so you can get back and forth. And I'm slacking just a little bit on making drones. You always want to make a drone if you have the money and if you have a larva available, if it's time to make drones. So what we're going to be doing in this build is we're going to go 15 hatch. So as soon as we get our 15th drone in production, we will rally him down there and make him build a hatch. So there we go. We have him selected. We're going to go ahead and send him down to the hatchery. And he should get there about the time when your scout arrives at his base, and about the time when you have just about enough money to drop the hatchery anyway. So our scout's going to get here. We're just going to make sure nothing crazy is going on, because then we might want to change our build a little bit. Okay, so he gets here, he sees a barracks, this is all normal, so cool. You can go ahead and send him home. We'll make him build the hatch now that he's down here. We're going to make one more drone. This drone is going to be for the spawning pool, so we're going to go ahead and rally him out. We'll set all the rest of this stuff up. And spawning pool should go down as soon as he is done. Now we have money for another drone, we're going to go ahead and do that. And as soon as we got that, we're going to make a first extractor. Again, everything was on 15 hatch, 15 pool, 15 extractor, but you will need to make drones in between just because you'll have the money available for that. So we're at 15 supply now. Once again, we're going to go up to 16, then we're going to make an Overlord with our next available larva, so we got that. Get him back mining. And we're going to go ahead and mine gas as soon as possible because we want to get speed out really quick. Okay, now we're at 17 supply. We're going to stash larva for just a second because we're going to make a pair of Zerglings in order to scout. So this larva doesn't need to be spent right away. You can choose to spend it if you want, but we really need a queen out and a Zergling as soon as this is done. So when that is finished, we're going to go ahead and spend that. And we will actually make a second pair of Zerglings just to be a little safe. Okay, this one's done as well, so we're going to go ahead and make a drone there. And again, the focus of Zerg whenever you're trying to run like a macro play is you want to make as many drones as possible until he forces you to do something else. I just researched speed as soon as I had 100 gas, and these lings are going to go out and try to scout and figure out what's going on. You want to transfer some workers off just to make sure that you are staying balanced at each place. These lings definitely should be somewhere out on the map, but we won't worry about that too much right now. This queen is done. And once these Zerglings get there, we'll pretty much call this build good. And I'm missing an Overlord. That's what's going on. So this queen can't be built right now. We'll just go ahead and cancel it. But okay, we're at the point where we're pretty much done. So we're going to go ahead and quit, and I will explain to you all the different intricacies of the build. So that was Hatch First in ZvT. It's a really safe build, assuming you know everything that's going on, and I'll explain that in just a second in the replay. And I hate this stupid bug that's on battle.net right now, but we will get over it. Okay, so we're going to review this by supply, and we'll make sure that I explain all the different concepts of what we're going to be reviewing here. Or, yeah, okay, whatever. That'll do. Okay, so once again, when you first start the game, send your Overlord out. You're going to put him somewhere over here so that he can scout later on in the game. Whenever you feel like you don't know what's going on, just use him to scout. It's okay if you lose him. He's worth the information. So again, make drones as soon as possible. Whenever you have available larvae, just hit up a drone and send him over to work. Of course, he'll rally to wherever this is set to. Stop it, battle.net. Okay, and then once you're at 9 supplies, when you're going to start saving up for your overlords, so you're going to want to just hit that overlord key as fast as you can. Geez, this is really annoying. And there's the overlord. And then the last, or the 10th drone is going to be on the way here in just a second, so there it goes. This drone is going to be the one you're going to want to scout with, so go ahead and send him out, or you can send out one of your drones you already have mining. I prefer to send ones that are not done yet, because then I can give it commands before it's actually mining. So yeah, anyway, so we're going to be sending this overlord down here to spot around your hatchery area for any bunkers, and I'll show you why. Well, I guess you won't really be able to see why because I'm spotting too well, but when you first make a hatchery, your hatchery actually has really terrible vision. So if they were like building a bunker right here or whatever, you wouldn't be able to see it if it was just a hatchery. That's why you need the overlord there to be able to spot what's going on. I really don't know what's the deal with this stupid input thing that's from battle.net right now. It's a bug that they're working on, but man, it's really annoying to deal with right now. So okay, again, 15 hatch is going to be your first building that's going to go down, and you can usually rally your 15th drone down. We're going to wait for the larva to come up, and again, as soon as you have the larva and as soon as you have the money, spend it on whatever needs to be spent on. Don't let it just sit around in this early part of the game, because nobody's slowing you down other than yourself right now. Like, he's not going to have units at your base. Your ability to produce drones completely relies on you being able to do that. So this 15th drone, just go ahead and rally down here, and once he gets there, he'll be able to place the hatch. And the reason that we time this out this way is we do have a little bit more money than the hatchery actually costs by the time he gets down there. But again, we're not interrupting mining, and we're also going to know what's going on with this drone by the time he gets there. So if he's rallied down there and our drone sees like no buildings in here and he's taking gas or something weird like that, then you're going to be like, oh no, he's probably proxying a building. I really shouldn't take my hatchery right now. I should just make a pool instead. So it's a number of different things. Mostly it's just for the sake of smoothness. So once we get in here, we know, and then we can say, okay, cool, you can go back home, and then we already have this guy rallied down, so when he gets there, we can just plop the hatch right away. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to make another drone, go back up to 15. This drone can be the one that can build your pool, so you'll notice I'll just rally him down here just like that. He's going to be sent home and back to work. You don't really need to see much more than this by this stage of the build. If you see a barracks and a depot, then you know everything is pretty normal. Okay, we've started the pool. We're going to make another drone, putting us back at 15 supply, and then we're going to go ahead and take our gas, which is going to drop us back down to 14. You're going to go ahead and make drones all the way up until 16 supply, at which point you're going to get your overlord. So there we go. Overlord should be on the way. Yeah, okay, there we go. He should be in this egg. Alright, and then once this finishes up, make sure that you send dudes over there to mine gas right away. And yes, I just called drones dudes. So one little deviation I will explain here is that when you're at 17 supply, you can start stowing larvae in order to make 2 pairs of zerglings. It's probably better if you don't know all the different intricacies in this build to make 2 pairs, which is why I did it in this part. So yeah, at 17 supply you can start storing larvae, and once that's done, you're going to be able to make 2 pairs of zerglings in your queen basically as soon as your spawning pool finishes. And I'll explain why you're going to send those zerglings out there in just a second. So there we go. And I don't know why I decided to wait a second for that second pair. There we go. Okay, so ideally you would continue to produce everything. You probably want to make an overlord right here, which I neglected to do. But we'll just skip ahead to where these zerglings get out and onto the map. Okay, so the biggest point of this opener is that you're safe from pretty much any early rush, assuming you know what's going on in his base. So if you come up here and you just scout one barracks, it's not like 2 or 3 barracks or anything crazy like that, then you can use these Zerglings as your scouting. So what you're going to want to do is send these Zerglings out, have them hold position right here, so if he moves across the map, he's going to have to kill them, and you'll be alerted that there's something weird going on when he's coming out. You can keep these other Zerglings around the map, say at like watchtowers for example. You could put them like almost at your base or near your base. The point from this point on is that you don't want to make units unless you have to. So keep making as many drones as you can until you feel like, if I make any more drones, I'm going to die. So that's the whole point of Zerg, and that's the whole point of going hatch first, is just to get as many drones out as possible while still staying safe, because you can afford to sacrifice these units. So okay, that pretty much summarizes opening up hatch first. It's a really simple build. Like most Zerg builds, it only can take you so far. Like, we're only at 28 supply, and that's about as far as I feel comfortable explaining this build. Because it's not like, I mean, your different reads and reactions after this are going to be completely based upon how many drones can I get out before I'm forced to make units. And if you're injecting well with your queens, you can produce those all at once so that you can defend whatever he might bring out. But yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into pool first really quickly, which, I mean, it's really not that common right now, mostly because you can actually hatch first almost every single game against Terran. So I wouldn't be like too concerned about being safe, and we might have to wait for this stupid thing to finish spinning. I'll explain the advantages of pool first really quickly though. The reason you'd want to go pool first is to get a lot faster speed. It is a lot safer against a lot of different things, like if he has a really crazy like Marine SCVL in or something like that. Having speed on your Zerglings around allows for better ability to trap the Marines, or better ability to stop Hellions if he's bringing those into your base. So we'll just cover a really basic pool gas hatch opener that's pretty conservative for this matchup. And man, I can't wait until they fix this stupid bug, because I just have to sit here and wait and waste time while this comes up. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure we are not screwing anything up here. Okay, it looks good, cool. Go ahead and add a Terran. We'll set him to orange because that's a color. And we'll go ahead and start this up. So this build's overview is just basically we're going to open up with a pool first and a later hatchery, just for the sole purpose of being safe, like super safe, and for the purpose of getting speed out really quickly. So if you're having a hard time running hatch first, go ahead and try this one out. There's not really that much to do besides these two builds in this matchup, because if you try to go like early pool or cheese or something, that really shouldn't work. The Terran should be able to hold it. So we'll go ahead and get our Overlord out like we always do. And I know it's annoying to hear the queens say that, but you should get used to that in your own builds, because you just want to be reeling on this button and getting everything out as soon as humanly possible. So as soon as this ticks to 50, I should have a drone ready to go, because I know that a drone needs to be next. Okay, so just like before, we do want to get an Overlord on 9. And with this build, you can actually be a lot more greedy. You don't really have to drone scout in this build, I would say. Some people might disagree, but I don't see that big of a reason to. So instead of sending this guy out to scout, we're just going to send him back to the line just like everybody else. So once this Overlord is done, again, you want to get drones out as soon as possible, so have your larva selected and ready to go, and then just rail on that button so that it's ready to go. And you do want to have him spot down on your natural once again. So those first two Overlords are really important to make sure you're sending them to the right place. Okay, in this build, you're going to take the pool on 14. So this drone, the one I just made, is going to be the dude we're going to rally over to make the pool. He should get there right in time. So we'll see. Now he's walking, 200 minerals now. Okay, cool. We're going to make one more drone, and then we're going to make a gas. We're going to continue to make drones up until 16, and we're going to make our Overlord just like before. The difference here is we're going to have our pool up, we're going to have a gas mining for speed. We're going to produce the 4 Zerglings like we did before. Let me make sure I time this out right. Okay, our gas is done. We're going to go ahead and send guys over there to mine, or dudes if you prefer. We're waiting on larva right now in order to make our next Overlord. So, go ahead and make that. Again, this is super safe. Once this is done, we're going to go ahead and make a queen. There she goes. And we're going to make a couple pairs of Zerglings, once this Overlord is done anyway. And we're going to watch our gas so that we start speed as soon as that's ready to go. Okay, cool. You can put this Overlord at any random place. And now we're about ready to take our hatchery, so we're going to go ahead and send a guy down there in order to build this. Now we have enough gas for speed, so if you really want to get speed earlier, you can delay that hatchery just a bit, but it's not that big a deal to just grab it right now. Our queen's done. Our Zerglings are out. We'll run this build to pretty much the same place we did before. That's not the right place. And again, continue to make drones as much as you can. You can see that by this point in the game we are a little lighter on drones, but that's specifically because we decided to get speed quicker. So that's going to be the side effect of this build, but it is a lot safer. So again, just have those Zerglings run around the map somewhere, put these guys on hold position, and yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, the rest of the game kind of comes down to your ability to do whatever needs to be done. And again, I missed my Overlord, but our hatch should. Well, I guess it won't finish for a little while. So you can see the differences. We're at pretty much the same stage in the game, but the difference is that my speed is halfway done, and I have Zerglings out here quicker, so that I can catch pushes coming across the map quicker than usual. So we'll go ahead and call that one good, and we'll watch the replay really quickly. And I'll demonstrate the little subtleties to this build. I think we covered it pretty well, but I mean, you always want to be sure. And again, we might have to deal with that stupid glitch, so I'm sorry if that comes up once again. I don't know what the deal is with it. Probably just programmers stepping on each other's toes by accident. Okay, so I'm just going to review really quickly what Terran is capable of at this point, and why you don't really need to scout in this opener. So if we... what button am I meaning to press here? Plus. Alright. Okay, cool. So from the Terran perspective, they're going to be trying to get a wall up more cases than not. So there's really not that much of a reason to scout, because even if they cheese you, you can always cancel this hatchery if you absolutely need to. You have the pool up quicker and the speed up quicker so you can hold attacks. So again, I would use this as kind of a secondary build. And again, just to review the build really quickly, we're going to go pool on 14, gas on 14, which means we make a drone between those two. We're going to make an Overlord on 16. And these are supply counts, of course. Mine gas as soon as you've got it. Overlord on 16. A queen as soon as your pool finishes. This is going to allow you to have the larva to hold pushes that you might have not scouted earlier before, or to be able to crank out drones in order to catch up with where you would have been if you went hatch first. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Overlord's done. We're going to make 2 pairs of Zerglings like we did last game. I would really advise sticking with these 2 pairs in this build, because they're going to be a lot stronger at holding off attacks that you might not have scouted by now. So like if you were doing this build and he happened to be like trying to bunker rush you or something, these Zerglings would be out way before they would in a hatch first. So okay, from the Terran perspective, I mean the most he'll have out by this point is maybe a couple Marines walking across the map. And if you're really worried about that, these Zerglings will do just fine against that. The other aspect, like I mentioned before, is that speed is really important at holding off early pushes. So getting this speed up earlier is going to be a lot more advantageous than in a hatch first build. But again, the point to playing Zerg is kind of being as greedy as you possibly can. Make drones for as long as you can until he makes you make units. This one is just has a little bit slower curve so that you don't get caught off guard nearly as badly. And then again, hatch on about 20 supply is pretty normal. I was highlighting the wrong supply there. 20 supply is pretty normal for this build, so you can go ahead and take it, or you can delay it by 1 supply if you'd rather get speed just a tiny bit faster. So that's totally up to you. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. That pretty much covers us for both builds. So I hope this was at least informative. If you have any questions that I didn't cover in this video, please let me know. And I did just recently join a gaming team, as you can see there at the bottom right, akagamingteam.com. Go ahead and check that out. Check out their sponsors, which are SA2 Replay Stats, Allstate, Propel Zero, which definitely helped me make this possible. We're going to continue with more openers after this if you're watching the playlist, so stay tuned for that, but until then, I'll see you guys later.